Постріл.
Horrifying moment. How Russia loses 30 tanks and more than 1,000 troops in one day in Donetsk town. Ukrainian forces likely took out more than 70 Russian soldiers in a precision strike about 14 miles behind the front lines, the UK Ministry of Defence said in an intelligence update on Friday. The attack targeted a convoy of trucks in the village of Avdiivka in the Kherson region on November 10th, per the update. The MOD also reported that tens of Russian servicemen were likely killed or injured in a subsequent attack on November 19th, when a strike hit troops holding an award ceremony or a concert in Kumachove, Donetsk, 37 miles from the battle lines. It's just the latest report of mass casualties inflicted on Russian troops by Ukrainian long-range precision strikes since Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022. An estimated 120,000 Russian troops and 70,000 Ukrainian troops have died since February 2022, US officials told media in August. The MOD reported in October that Russia has likely suffered up to 290,000 killed or wounded soldiers since the start of the war. However, Ukrainian troops have also fallen victim to Russia's long-range weapons. During an outdoor medal ceremony on November 3rd, 19 troops from Ukraine's 128th Separate Mountain Assault Brigade were killed by a Russian ballistic missile in the southern Zaporizhzhia Oblast, the MOD said. 2 Russian missile strikes hit the Ukrainian troops in succession, an unnamed military official told media at the time. The incident drew the ire of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who accused commanders of negligence in a video published on social media X on November 5th.
Постріл! Постріл!
The State Bureau of Investigation has since launched a probe into the incident to hold the commanders involved accountable, as Business Insider previously reported. This was one of the deadliest assaults that Ukraine had documented since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion last year, the Associated Press reported at the time. While deployed soldiers usually have a good understanding of the weaponry ranges of their enemies, commanders face an acute dilemma, the MOD reported. They must balance the best practice of keeping the troops dispersed and less vulnerable to strikes and the day-to-day requirement to gather units together to conduct administration and to maintain morale, it said. Russia lost 30 tanks and more than 1,000 troops in a single day, Kyiv's military said in an update on Friday, as clashes intensify for the Donetsk town of Avdiivka in eastern Ukraine. Moscow's forces have lost a total of 322,900 fighters since Russian President Vladimir Putin launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, and 1,100 military personnel in the past 24 hours, according to figures released by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Russia has also lost a total of 5,496 tanks and 7,833 artillery systems in the ongoing war, the update said. Estimates of casualty figures vary, with Kyiv's figures usually exceeding those of Western countries. Russia itself rarely releases figures on troop losses. In September 2022, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said 5,937 of Moscow's troops had been killed in the war. A joint investigation by the Media Russian Service and independent Russian news outlet Mediazona on November 17th identified the names of 37,052 Russian military personnel who have died in the war in Ukraine. It said that the actual number of losses was higher than the figures stated in the investigation. Kyiv similarly does not release updated death tolls. In April, A leaked U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency assessment estimated that Kyiv had suffered 124,500 to 131,000 casualties, including 15,500 to 17,500 dead. In October, Putin said that Ukraine's losses during its counteroffensive were 8 times higher than those of Russia, inadvertently revealing that Russian losses since June exceeded 11,000 military personnel. Russia is reportedly suffering major equipment losses amid an ongoing battle for Avdiivka, which has been described as the gateway to the city of Donetsk. Ukrainian commander Alexander Tarnavsky said on his Telegram channel Thursday that Russian troops began a third wave of its assault on Avdiivka. Ukraine said Russia recently accumulated around 40,000 troops for a fresh assault on the town. Russian independent news outlet Pravda reported on Thursday that Russian forces had detonated a 500-kilogram, about 1,100 b, explosive charge in a tunnel under a Ukrainian position. According to Kyiv, it's a tactic President Vladimir Putin's troops have been resorting to since October. Pravda said that the powerful blast left the Ukrainian military with no opportunity to push back against the advance, and all the defensive fortifications of the Ukrainian armed forces were quickly captured by a Russian attack aircraft.